Hello and welcome back to the Sweet Sugar Bakers YouTube channel. Today I'm going to demonstrate using my heat sealer to seal some of the cookies that I just finished making. And so all we have here is the heat sealer. This is called the Impulse Sealer. I got it on Amazon and it works great. And then I have these little cellophane bags that I also bought on Amazon, and I can put the links to both of these in the description here. These bags are actually self-sealing, is what they're meant to be. They have a little adhesive strip up at the top that you can fold over and seal, but the heat sealer gives an airtight seal that the self-sealing does not, and so I just cut that part off after I'm done with the heat sealing. And the reason I think that I chose these is just because they seemed like they were a good deal. So that's why I picked them, even though I didn't need the adhesive strip. Okay, so here we have my cookies that I just finished. And so all you do is take a cookie, stick it in the bag, and then you're going to want to kind of flatten out the top a little bit so that you don't have any creases. When you put it on the heat sealer, I like to run my finger over it a little bit like this to make sure that it's smooth and no wrinkles that are going to create pockets of air that'll make it so that it's not completely sealed. And the nice thing about the heat sealer is that it's completely cool to the touch. It's not hot at all, except when it's actually pushed down. That's the only time that there's actually any heat coming out of it. So it's very safe. Oh, and I forgot, the first thing that you have to do is set the temperature. Now, on my temperature here, it's currently there, it goes from 1 all the way up to 8. I've never used anything above a 4. Because that would just melt the plastic. I currently have it set on a level 2 because that's the level that I set it on when I'm heat sealing my piping bags, because those are a thinner consistency than these bags, and so they need a lower temperature to seal them. These bags I usually do a little bit above a 3, maybe around a 3 1/4. Let's try that. And then if that's not high enough, I'll be able to pull the bag back apart so that I'll know it's not a high enough temperature. And then I would move it up to maybe a 4. So let's try out 3 1/4 and see how that works. Okay, so it's all smooth. And then it has that little click at the end. And that's how you know it's done. And once it clicks, it's not heating anymore. So you can keep pushing it down as long as you want, and it's not gonna keep doing anything. It only heats for the first few seconds until it's done, and then it clicks and the heat turns off. Okay, so let's test it. So we pulled, it's sealed. So 3 1/4 is perfect. We have a very good seal on here now. And so I will set that aside and show you another cookie. Okay, so again, line it up, make sure it's flat, click, it's done, and that's it. A nice heat sealed bag to keep our cookies fresh, and that is a good thing. Now, you can watch me, if you want, you can watch me seal the rest of these cookies. That's probably not very interesting though, so I'll probably just cut the video off after I do this one. And there we go. So like I said, the next step that I would do is grab some scissors, and then I like to just trim off the top part of the bag here. because I don't need it. I don't need that part. And then we have a nice little space at the top, and this is where I like to staple on a cardstock label. So you just have a 4-inch, these are 4-inch by 6-inch bags, so that means they're 4 inches wide. So I print out a 4 by 4-inch square that you can fit 4 of them on a piece of cardstock from your printer, and then so it's 4 inches, and I just fold it in half, so then I have 2 inches by 4 inches, fold it over and staple it on the top, and then that looks really nice. So I hope this was useful, and I love my heat sealer, and like I mentioned, I do use it also for sealing the bags of piping icing, the piping bags, I mean, for using on decorating my cookies with royal icing, because I love the fact that that means there's no icing squirting out the top and making a mess when I'm using the bags. So I just wanted to show you, I finished heat sealing all of my cookies, and I always feel a huge sense of relief when I get all of my cookies heat sealed into their little plastic bags, because then I feel like they're not going to be getting stale and dried out. Because I feel like up until that point, you know, they are constantly exposed to the air, while when I take them out of the oven, they have to cool before I can decorate them. And then during the decorating process, that can sometimes take a couple of days of getting all of the different layers of icing on there and letting that dry completely. And so finally, by the time I heat seal them in bags, they've been sitting out and exposed to the air for 2, 3, maybe even 4 days. And so I love the fact that once I get them sealed into these bags, I know that the process of them getting stale gets slowed down drastically. The nice thing about these is that it'll keep them fresh for much longer than if you just have them in a Tupperware container, and they will stay fresh at room temperature for at least a few weeks once they've been heat sealed. Or you can put them in their little heat sealed bags. You can put them into some type of Tupperware container, or a freezer safe Ziploc bag, and put them in the freezer, and then they'll stay fresh for months. So if you feel like it's going to be a few weeks before you eat the cookies, or before someone that you're going to give them to eats them, then I would recommend going ahead and heat sealing them, putting them in a Tupperware or a bag, and then putting them in the freezer up until you're ready to use them. And once you're ready to thaw them, you just take them out, keep them sealed in whatever container they're in for at least 30 or 40 minutes to let them thaw out and come to room temperature while they're all still sealed in the bag, and then they're good to go, and they should be super, super fresh. Okay, so I wanted to share, I did go ahead and make some little cardstock tags to go on the top of my cookie bags, and so I wanted to share that process with you. I made these on a website called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, and I used their comic strip template, which is just 4 little blocks of 4-inch by 4-inch squares on one piece of paper. And then I saved it as a PDF document and printed it out on my printer. So I used their clip art, which they had this nice little Easter image of Easter eggs and a purple background, kind of lavender. And then I used their text to say Happy Easter. And excuse me, I also used Canva to create my logo initially. And so I put a copy of my logo here on the back. I flipped it upside down so that, see, when you're creating it, it's like this, the logo is upside down. And then once you print it and fold it, then when you turn it around on the back, then my logo is there on the back. So I'll just show you I already went ahead and cut out and folded the first 4 from the first sheet that I printed out, but I'll show you. These are the other ones that haven't been cut out yet. So I just printed them on my regular printer, and I love my printer, by the way. If you're in the market for a new printer, it's pretty great. It's the HP Instant Ink printer, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. I got it on Amazon, and it's a pretty affordable printer, and you don't have to pay for buying ink. They automatically send you refills of ink whenever it's getting low. It's hooked up to the internet, so it can sense when the ink is running low, and you just pay a subscription of like $5 a month or something like that. And for that, you can print, I think, up to 100 pages a month, something like that. I don't know. They have different levels, and I think when I bought it, I don't know if they still offer it, but when I bought it, they even had a free level. So that means if you only printed like something like 20 pages or 15 pages or less per month, it was completely free. And then once you ran out of ink, they would send you new ink, all free. So if you are somebody who hardly ever prints anything, go with that option, because that's pretty amazing. And you can also have, because it's hooked up to the internet, you can print from anywhere. You can print from your cell phone, you can print from anything that's connected to the internet, because you can send your print job through the app on your phone, or you can just, your phone can detect the printer through the airwaves or whatever. Okay, so here is one of my cookies, and like I said, I left about an inch or an inch and a half of plastic up here at the top, and that's so that I can take my label, stick it over the top, and then put one staple on one side, one staple on the other, and there you have it. And then on the back, there's my logo. So I will show you that up close. There's the back. And there's the front. Nice. And it just really, I mean, adding that label on the top, I think just makes it look super professional and impressive. And like a special little gift for whoever happens to get that cookie. You know, I mean, if you're giving someone just a regular cookie that's not packaged, it's just a cookie. But if you give them a cookie that's heat sealed in a cellophane bag with a little cardstock tag attached to the top, then it's a special gift. So that's my opinion. And again, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching the Sweet Sugar Baker on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, and you can find me at the Sweet Sugar Baker on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can follow along with all of my cookie decorating adventures. Have a great day.